What's up, folks? Welcome to 𝗬𝗏𝗠𝗃𝗏𝗏. I have some big podcasts lined up. That's why I'm not in my studio right now. I got a 𝗬𝗵𝗶𝗹 tomorrow. I got Patrick Byrne today. So I'm trying to make some moves here to where I do some more in-person podcasts. Folks, hit the notification button. Like, share, and subscribe. Also, folks, Ringside with Nino. That's coming Wednesday. I think the 12th. It's the 12th. So I'll see you guys at Ringside with Nino. I'm trying to get Stephen Kuhn on. We're having technical difficulties, so I don't know what's going on with that right now. So he's in a completely different country, a different continent, and we're having trouble. So hopefully he jumps on during the broadcast. He's the one that put out the video of the elite families panicking. He had direct intel on the elite families panicking. So hopefully I can get him on. If not, I'll go through it myself. And there's a lot here, believe me. I don't know if any of you saw my post that I put up on X the other day or yesterday. General Flynn basically validated it. I said the 100-year plan with China, the globalists and China for 2049 to completely take over America and eliminate, and this is crazy, all whites. Okay, now, folks, take what you will, but General Flynn commented right under that and said, you're dead on the money. That's exactly what they wanted to do. 2049, and it sped up with the 2020 election. So everything sped up, which made them fumble the ball, which shows you right there, point blank, Trump is a military operation, no doubt in my mind. They were not expecting him to come in and win in 2024. Folks, get your noble gold. Get your noble gold. AI is getting smarter every day. So are the hackers using it. Your bank account, your retirement, your savings, all sitting on a server protected by a password AI can crack in just seconds. How much of your wealth exists only as a number on the screen? You need something AI can't touch. Noble Gold Investments helps Americans secure physical gold held in your hand in a tax advantage retirement account. This is well worth it, folks. We know we're going this direction. All you see now on social media is gold, silver. Get on it now. NobleGoldInvestments.com. NobleGoldInvestments.com right now. In an increasingly digital world, own something real. So that's what I'm doing. No doubt about it. That's what I'm doing. I got to say, we are coming into the final stretch of all of this, of everything that's happening right now. We know it. We feel it. We can see it. It's almost like the demons are getting more and more desperate. They see the grasp. They see that they're losing their grasp, their control over the world. We are in the fight, folks. And most importantly, this is a spiritual fight. That's what this is, first and foremost. Folks, 𝗬𝗏𝗠𝗃𝗏𝗏, fire. It's always fire. I got the Deep State Gold Heist getting ready to premiere Saturday. That's going to be huge. Deep State Gold Heist is about 2 hours long with Alex Alonso, Jack Clarence on the excavation of Victoria Peak and how the government, how the military came in and stole all the gold. Took it all under Nixon and LBJ's watch. It's crazy. It's a phenomenal story. Could this lead to the assassination of JFK? Eyewitness accounts say they think so, because why? LBJ and JFK were at the mountain fighting over the gold, and LBJ wanted it. He wanted it all. This is interesting. It's a must-see. It's on 𝗬𝗏𝗠𝗃𝗏𝗏. It's dropping there first on Saturday, tomorrow. Tomorrow, Saturday, and then again, it's going to drop on YouTube, the edited version on YouTube on the 15th, 8/15/26. That's Saturday. So sounds like it's going to be a hell of a show. 𝗬𝗏𝗠𝗃𝗏𝗏shop. 𝗬𝗏𝗠𝗃𝗏𝗏shop. Get your sweaters, your shirts, your hats. Everything you need is right there in the store. Get busy getting that. And, folks, I got Patrick Byrne today coming on talking about the enemy within his bribe. He bribed Hillary Clinton. He's going to go into all of this today. I have him right after this morning show. I also got 107, Sammy the Bull Gravano, the mobster. He's coming on in-person podcast. That's going to be really good. Folks, so without further ado, you might want to turn it down or turn it up, baby. Yeah. Here we go. Coming at you live from the apocalypse, baby. Yeah. I can hear the maids outside vacuuming, so I know they're probably like, ay, ¿qué pasó el hombre in the room number 245? I don't know, but it's getting crazy. All right, folks, let's get into this. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Oh, Steve Kuhn has just entered the studio, so we're going to have him on right now. So imagine waking up one day and discovering that everything you thought was inevitable wasn't. For generations, the world's most influential banking dynasties, intelligence alliances, multinational institutions, and unelected power brokers believed history belonged to them. They believed every financial crisis, every geopolitical conflict, and every manufactured emergency would move civilization one step closer to what they called the reset. There's only one problem. The reset has begun to fail. It's completely collapsing on their watch. Behind closed doors of marble boardrooms and underground command centers, panic has replaced confidence. The people who once dictated every move on the global chessboard are now scrambling to protect decades of planning as unexpected events continue to derail their timeline. At the center of this disruption stands President Donald Trump. The establishment believed Trump had been politically finished forever coming into 2024. They built their entire timeline around the permanent removal from power. They were planning to get rid of him. You saw the many attempts on his life. They tried to get him at the election. They could not get this guy. This is divine grace by God, folks. Every contingency assumed he would never return. They were wrong. Now, instead of managing the transition into a new global order, the architects of the reset are watching their own machinery begin to collapse. Their intelligent assets are compromised. Their carefully crafted narratives are falling apart faster than they can repair them. But that's only the beginning. Hidden deep inside a classified archive known as Project Year 49, actually it's a 100-year program, was a strategy decades in the making. And that's why America was corroding for decades. It was corroding for decades. Why? It was specifically engineered for a takedown. According to the files, the globalists, by the use of China as a proxy, intended to completely take over America by the year 2049. And Patrick Byrne's going to elaborate on this later today. The plan wasn't built around tanks or missiles alone. It relied on economic warfare, cyber infiltration, political influence, advanced bio warfare, example 2020, that's all coming out right now, and the gradual erosion of national unity from within. When Trump won in 2016, unforeseen events threatened their schedule. The conspiracies accelerated everything. They made their big move in 2020 with Biden, but they overplayed their hand. Proxy shadow governments were quietly installed. Institutions became weapons. Information itself became the battlefield. Then history took an unexpected turn, ladies and gentlemen. Against every prediction, President Trump returned to office in 2024. Unexpected. But as you know, he was 45, 46, and 47. When you understand all that, this all makes sense. The people who believed they controlled the outcome were now forced into defense mode. So the people that used to be in control of the entire planet are now saying, what the hell's going on here? How'd this guy get back in there? America is the pivotal position, is the prize, is the trophy, and we're losing this? This doesn't make sense. What's going on? They are our military arm. Without America, we can't succeed in global takeover. You get it? All right. So as this unfolds, another twist shakes the political landscape. This is where it gets this is where it's starting to get weird. And this is where I think, is this part of the operation, or is this theater, or is this guy just completely gone rogue? A wildly popular broadcaster known as Tucker Carlson begins signaling that he may abandon the traditional two-party system altogether and build an entirely new political movement and party. Analysts speculate the other influential strategists and retired military leaders like General Flynn, I don't know, maybe Steve Bannon, they might throw their hat in the ring as well. they could soon join Tucker Carlson, creating a political realignment unlike anything the country has ever witnessed coming into 2028. Is it a genuine rebellion? Is it a political opportunism? A psyop? Are these seemingly independent players unknowingly advancing different places of a much larger operation? No one knows for sure, folks. The only certainty is that the old guard is no longer acting with confidence. We know that for sure. They're starting to react in fear, and they are now panicked, and they don't know what to do. And that's why I'm going to bring on Steve Kuhn right now. Steve, how are you doing? Steve, how are you, my man?
Doing all right, buddy. Appreciate it. I heard all that, man. Wow.
Yeah, I mean,
rocking it hard.
A little bit of echo on your side.
Okay, not sure what to do there for that. Let me do something real quick here.
Maybe we can figure that out. But stay with us, Steve. I'm going to let Steve get into this. Yeah, maybe he can just mute it while I'm talking, and then I'll bring him on. But Steve hit a knockout viral video, a huge viral video that went all over the internet talking about the elite families panicking and what they're doing right now. He got direct intel from friends and the inside the operation that basically said, hey, man, it's game over, and they know it, and they don't know what they're going to do from here. So, Steve, can you hear me? All right. Why don't you go into my audio and let them know how you about the elite families now panicking and trying to make alternative moves.
Yeah. How's this sound? Sound better?
I'm still echoing, but we'll just deal with it.
Strange. Okay. So, yeah, well, people. So put it this way. So I have friends all over the place. One of them is close to the Trump administration, advises on a regular basis, ex-military guy, very high up general officer. And he told me some things that, that weren't public knowledge, but it looks like to everyone out there who doesn't know this kind of thing, it looks like chaos, right? What's going on in Iran? What's going on in Venezuela? And why is all this happening? And you got to start at the beginning when you think about that. Venezuela was the first move. And you remember when President Trump put that blockade out there of all the Navy ships and just watched. Well, what they were doing is they were listening. They were listening to all the narco money communication that's going all over the world from the globalists, which is led by the City of London, right? And they basically got all of the records of who's getting money and where, what, how, and when, and then they went in and took them out. They boxed in Colombia, and they gave Mexico fair warning. What that did, that stopped the narco money going into Europe and the Far East, and that was a big blow. That's when the panic started, right? Like really started. And then Iran is a very interesting situation because it looks like, according to them, is that the 𝗷𝗔𝐶, which is basically the Republican Guard, is controlled by the globalists, but the leadership isn't. And if you look back to 2020, where Harold Lutnick's company owns 60%, I think it is, of Tether, which processes all of the USDT, and Iran uses USDT to take tolls in the Strait of Hormuz. So they've been taking tolls in the Strait of Hormuz. 60% of that goes through, it goes through Tether, which 60% is owned by Harold Lutnick's company. And if you don't know who Harold Lutnick is, he's our, Secretary of Commerce. So we've been working with Iran already since 2020 as American companies. So that should give anyone an idea, like, hey, what's going on here? What are we doing? You can't, you remember, you can't go face to face, head on with these people. There's no way. You have to tiptoe. You have to toe the line. You have to sort of play both sides. And if you want to talk about the City of London, so people understand, the City of London is 1 square mile or kilometer, and in that kilometer, it's a corporation, and they have voting rights. Not only the people who live there, but the people who work there. So every corporation can register someone to vote. 1 voter for every 5 employees, up to 10, that means 2. And then after that, I think it's every 20 or something like that. So you have banks there with 3,000 employees. So they're the ones voting in the City of London what gets done, right? So it's basically beholden. And what City of London did back in the 50s is they found out that if they take US dollars printed in America, the whole work circulated in America, and bring them to London, they don't fall under the American control. right? No regulations. And that's what they've been doing for years. And they've been using that money through USAID, through all of the programs. You see it, all the DEI and all this, like, Mickey Mouse and Sesame Street in Iraq and all this kind of stuff, or DEI in Serbia. That all came through them, right? And that's the money that comes through the taxpayers that get robbed from us.
So Alex, yeah, thank you, Alex. Alex is on top of it. So I put out a post just recently, and I said China had plans to take over America by 2049. They were going to be used as a proxy by the globalists to exterminate. And then this is well documented. Patrick Byrne's going to talk about it today when I bring him on the show later. That to exterminate basically the white man, okay, in an effort to what they were going to do is put the patriots in certain camps, the liberals in other camps, and really have this done, and it's a wrap by 2049. General Flynn commented on the post and said, look, this guy's right. He validated it, gave it a thumbs up, and said it was the 100-year plan. So people don't know how extensive this was and how they were doing this in secrecy to take over America, not by tanks and bombs and missiles, but by stealth operation, by subversion, invasion. And what we're seeing right now in Spain, the whole thing, that's exactly what they wanted for America. In fact, we saw it here with Biden. He went balls to the wall. The minute he got in, boom, opened the floodgates. Everyone started running here. I was in El Paso. I couldn't believe the immigrants on the streets, defecating on the streets, setting up camps. I mean, it was a complete invasion. It was a complete takeover. I could not believe my eyes. And Trump got in 2024, stopped it. And now the globalists and now the elite families are panicking because, oh, shit, what do we do? Now, they do have bunkers. They do have places they can go for when they want to hit the red button. And I want to get your thoughts on that. Do you believe their next move now coming into midterms is going to be, I don't know, hit the red button for chaos? What is their next plan? What's their next move here?
Well, I like looking at trends and fractals and loops and patterns. And if you look at big industry in America, where are they moving to? They're moving from the coasts inward. And it's been told to me by some people that the chaos will begin, maybe not in the midterms, but right after the midterms, depending on what the results are, on the East and the West Coast and the big cities. And so and an indication of that is the big corporations that are moving out of those cities. So for me, I think it's a no-brainer. It's going to happen one way or the other. I don't know about bunkers and all that stuff. You hear about all this stuff, right? You also hear that, the AI centers, the AI data centers don't really need the water. They're actually just stealing the water, putting it in underground reservoirs for their bunkers. You hear all this kind of stuff, but I can't verify any of that. So I don't really know. What I do know is what I see. And what I see is these corporations, or the big corporations, whether it's logistics or production or whatever, moving into the middle America, down to Texas, all the way upwards, right? And it's not something that we should ignore, because that means it's going to happen on the East and West.
Okay, Steve, I wonder if that has to do with a catastrophe or some kind of natural disaster. If you look at the Navy map, it shows the coasts immersed with water due to some kind of earthquake or some kind of natural disaster. I wonder if that's why the corporations are moving inward in America, because they know the coasts are going to be gone. I don't know if Alex can show the map.
Well,
there it is right there.
Well, if that were the case, let's look at who's buying property. Look at Martha's Vineyard or up there in the Hamptons and stuff. They're still buying, multi-million-dollar houses. Obama bought a place up there, all kinds of stuff. If the Navy knows this, then the Obama and the other globalists know this as well. Why are they buying property there? That's the question that I would have for that. So I don't know. I've never seen this map before, so it's very interesting. It's too bad all of California isn't gone. I'm just kidding.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I've had a lot of people saying that, this is inevitable. It's coming. They expect it. Some say before 2030, before 2030, 45, whatever. We all know something big's coming. I feel like there's going to be some kind of big manufactured event, black swan event, financial crash, something before 2028. In my mind, that's when I think it's going to happen, to where we're going to have the financial reset. Whether the globalists do it or Trump does it first is what I heard is what the race is on for. So what's your thoughts about that? Do you believe we are now winning this? We're winning the fight, and that Trump will be the one to pull the plug, or do you believe the globalists will pull the plug first prematurely?
Well, you see the speed of events that are happening. That's an indication that they're panicking, right? So they're doing a lot. They're doing a lot at the same time. You saw what happened in New York with Mamdani, and now in Michigan as well. That's not that was it almost $100 million just on Massey's race and yesterday in Michigan. They're panicking. They need to have their people in place. So that's an indicator that they're going to pull the plug sooner or later. Like I said, if I wouldn't know what I know, I would think, man, we're doomed. But I have faith that there's triggers in place and tripwires in place to make sure that it doesn't go too bad. But there will absolutely be something going on, some massive event, some kind of, whatever they're going to use to make it happen. Because it isn't, everyone's not Trump's friend, and everyone in America isn't Trump's friend, right? And there's two sides. You have the sovereigntists and you have the globalists. And Trump's trying to get the sovereigntists together, which is why the UAE left OPEC, right? And you know what happened since they left OPEC? What hasn't happened since they left OPEC? Not one drone, not one bomb, not one rocket from Iran. Imagine that, right? So why'd that happen? Yeah. So these are just small, always look at the patterns. Like what changed when that changed? What happened after that happened? And that's what I keep looking at. And if we move to Europe, there's been a plan in place since 2019 for a war with Russia by 2029. And that's why they're not giving up. That's why they're not stopping. That's why they're just going no matter what. And the only thing that's keeping Europe alive right now is the weapons industry, right? The military industrial complex. But that's not going to keep them afloat long either, because that's all taxpayers' money going into that. So it's not actually genuine revenue, right? It's just what's the word I'm looking? Artificial inflation, so to say. And as you know, I'm the co-founder of the Civic Coalition of Germany, which became the largest party in Germany, which is the AfD. And my partner is the vice chair of the AfD. And we just met in Italy 4 days ago and had a big powwow down there. And I'll tell you what, it's not looking rosy to the point where that whole party, I'm probably going to get killed for this, but that whole party is getting infiltrated, right? Globalists as well. Because here's the problem. Everybody has a price. Right? Everybody has a price, and they're willing to pay whatever it takes. Not everybody, but most people have a price, and they're willing to pay whatever it takes. And that's the issue that we have right now also in America, because you have good people standing up, and they just get mowed down by all this corruption, blackmail, or whatever it is. I mean, even people, I could name names, you would know who they are right now, that are sitting in the cabinet that are under pressure, blackmail, and the whole works. I mean, everybody's talking about RFK. He's now in a blackmail scheme. I've known that since he came to office. It was like 2 weeks later they got him. It's supposed to work for him. Right, and my guy told me, "Don't go." This is what happened. So, it's a scary place to be if you don't have faith in the process and a faith in the movement. Now, what I'm not saying is everything's going to be rosy and perfect afterwards, because if Trump manages to wrestle away the globalist control from the globalists, what do we have? We have someone else controlling the globe. Right? And who's standing beside Trump on both sides and behind him and in front of him? The tech bros, right? So how far does that go? Okay, we might wrestle it away from them, but what do we have then? Is it better for us? Is it just cool because it's America? These are the things we've got to ask.
That's been my point all along. And just for one moment, folks, let me just say this. I'm going to get back to Stephen in a second. That's been my point. It's almost like we're taking down the old guard and we're handing it off to the tech bros, this new guard, this new they're no different than the old guard. To me, they're the same. They're Luciferians. If you look at Peter Thiel, his ideology, everything he stands by, I mean, he wants to bring the Antichrist into AI. This guy's nuts. So we're actually handing the keys off to the same system. So in just a moment, folks, let me just get to this real quick, Stephen. I want to get your perspective on Trump declaring a national security emergency, and if the midterms go into a pause, what does that look like? A delay because of executive orders Trump might put forth. This is all speculation. I've had guests come on to say, like, no, that's what they anticipate coming. So I want to get your perspective on that. But first, folks, a new survey. Yeah, you knew I was going to do it. A new survey found that 1 in 3 Americans feel most self-conscious about their body at the beach or at the pool more than anywhere else. Summer is here. The trips, the pool days, the photos are already happening. And if you've been eating better, cutting back, genuinely trying, but cravings keep taking over no matter what, that's not you being weak. Your hunger hormones are working against you, and they're working overtime. This is why I'm obsessed with GLP-1 Elevate instead of the pharmaceutical override. It uses clinically studied plant-based ingredients like 𝗵𝗶𝗶𝗶 to naturally restore my body's own hunger-controlled signals. In clinical studies, it raised GLP-1 levels by 56% and cut calorie intake by 20%. So if you don't want to use the peptides and you don't like needles, this is the way to go. This is the safer direction. No needles, just quieter cravings, real fullness, and a body you're actually proud of in the summer. To kick summer off, get 51% off now. Every order comes with a free VIP coaching for 60-day satisfaction guarantee and free express shipping. So get to Trim with Nino, baby. Get on it and get started. So, Steve, I want to ask you, what do you see if this is the direction? Because I think this is the only direction to go. Would it be a pause, some kind of pause, maybe military at the voting booths, because we know what they're going to do. Neither side can afford to lose the midterms. That's everything's off the table come the midterm. So I would imagine, 𝗂𝗏 has been on my program saying that there's going to be some kind of pause. Steve Bannon has now come out and said he expects Trump to sign a national security emergency. What do you foresee coming in the midterms?
I hope he doesn't do that, because that would just justify everything that everybody's saying. It would give them say, look, see, he's a dictator.
But we can't lose those.
Yeah, well, I don't think we're going to lose. I just have a feeling we're not going to lose. And this is what I'm being whispered to, is that there might end up being not enough candidates running for the seats that are open because they're going to be arrested. This is what what they're suggesting could happen if they can pull the strings. And at that point, then you have to have statewide conventions for state representatives to be then put into place. So the state senates and the state congresses will put people up to run for Senate or whatever. So that would be actually amazing, because then the people would actually have to vote, and it would be such a mass on people that it would almost be impossible to cheat, because it would just happen all over the nation. I don't know. I really don't know. I know Steve Bannon well, and he's usually pretty close to what's going to happen. So I just can't see it happening. Every election someone says this. Oh, he's going to freeze the election. Obama's not going to give it. It's every election. I just don't see it happening, because that would justify everything that they're saying about Trump, and that would be a shot in his own foot. So if there's another way, and that way is arresting the people that are all corrupt or taking money or whatever, if that's actually going to happen, which I personally doubt it, but it would be amazing, then they would have to go back to the states and say, hey, you need to put up delegates. And the next thing you know, by the people, for the people.
So that brings me to this, Tucker Carlson now is coming out kind of flirting with the idea that he's going to run for president or create a new party. And I wonder to myself, man, the timing of this, right as we come into midterms, coming into 2028, you have General Flynn, stating that he may run for president. Steve Bannon's flirted with it. Trump is backing JD Vance. What's your thoughts on Tucker Carlson? Do you think Tucker Carlson is maybe part of this operation? It's all part of this theater? Because I really have a hard time believing that he's at odds with Trump. I feel like it's theater. I think it's all a big play. And I think maybe Tucker is being used to create this new party that once they do take down the Democrats, once they do take down a lot of the Republicans in arrest, like you said, we'll need a new party. We're going to need a new party. So what's your thoughts on that?
I don't know what's going to happen, but I do know this. Everything you hear isn't the truth. Everything that's put out online is a trigger. That's it. That's everything. Whether you're triggered to be positive, or you're triggered to be negative, or you like it or you hate it, it's still a trigger either way. Information warfare is real, and it's ramped up to the maximum it's ever been in our country. So when someone talks like that, I just have to laugh, because I'm like, I don't know if he means it, if he doesn't mean it. Maybe there's a thread of truth to it. But it's definitely not what it looks like. There's always something going on. There's always some back channel, because public opinion is what matters to the people. People want to grab onto something because their identities are connected to it. But here's the deal, and this is a big deal. It doesn't matter what happens, because here's the truth. Republicans are lazy. They don't want to vote, right? They do not want to vote. Right now in tab, join tab.us, if you want to go check it out. We place local citizen servant leaders into local seats, right? We've placed about 60 people in the last 120 days. And I just want to...
Let me just tell Alex, please bring up his website. What's your website again? Say it again.
Join. It's right there under my name, under my face. Jointab.us.
Jointab.us. Can you bring it up, Alex? Because this is a very productive, awesome website for people that if you are looking to run for office, this is where you should go. This site right here. So let's bring it up for Steve.
Servant Leader series. It helps you understand how to run and how to be right for the seats. And then you have a certification course that gets you on the roster of TAB certified. And we have a seat finder on the website. You click on it, put in your zip code, and you can find out what seats are vacant or available in your area, right? So when I did a study of who's engaged, who's writing, who's taking the course, who's reading the books, and who's calling me and writing me and asking for more information, it's 65% Republican women over 50.
Wow.
Where are all the shit-talking men, excuse my French, right? Where are all the tat-wearing, beard-wearing, gun-toting guys talking about free America, right? They're not voting. They're not taking action. They're not taking local seats. Right now, there's 100,000 vacant precinct seats out of 700,000. From 500,000 local government elections, 70% run uncontested. That means one person shows up. 70% of 500,000 seats. And in 32 states, you can become a judge without even having a law degree or a degree at all.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah. So this is what I'm saying, People don't know this. That's what we do. We educate you. We tell you what it's all about. We tell you how to get in the seats. So I train you how to get in the seats. And then you get in those seats and we can take America back. 3,144 counties in America. If we place 10 people in each county, that's 144 people across America. If they have integrity, they were trained, and they know the doctrine, we can take America back with less than 32,000 people. But we need those 32,000 people. And the problem is, it's not happening. We have women all over America, over 50 years old, that are doing the heavy lifting, and that is just not happening. Guys, where are you? We have to take this republic back.
Man, I can't believe that many seats go uncontested. It makes sense, though, because everyone's very sedentary, very lethargic in America. They don't want to do anything. Nobody wants to go to work. I mean, that's just really where we're at now. Everyone's on their phones, on social media. Dude, it blows my mind that we have finally come to this place in society that everyone's just lazy. They want someone else to do something, do it for them. That's just really where it's at. And it's like contagious. It's been spread throughout every corner of America, man, where everyone's just thinks that way. And I agree with you. Steve, I appreciate you coming on. Go ahead. What do you have to say?
1 second. This is how the activists are getting into play, because they know all this stuff. And that's how they're getting into Dearborn. That's how they're getting in city councils. That's how they're getting in Tampa. That's how they're getting in Austin. That's how they're getting in Houston. They're using our system against us. They know it, and they're doing it. But we're like, oh, man, that can't happen. I got to go to Walmart. It's like, no, man.
As long as they can make a video on social media and just be like, man, this is what it's like, and they're wearing their USA shirt and their, big beards and shit.
Exactly.
The most activism these men have, these so-called alpha males, they grow their beard. And then they put on an America shirt and they sit there and talk shit on social media, but nobody wants to do anything. Like, you're active about it. I'm active about it. I do this day after day after day. And I believe we're making a difference. And you have an actual website where people can go on and navigate themselves and find out what seats are open, what seats they can run for. Take America back right here, folks. Is there anything else you want to say about it?
Yeah, most of those seats, you don't have to run for them. They're appointed. And there's three cities in North Dakota right now that doesn't have a mayor. You can walk in and say, I want to be mayor. And if they say yes, you're the mayor at large until the next election. That means you have time to do something until the next election so you can win the next election. And you'll probably run uncontested anyway because no one shows up. Right? So, crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. I'm telling you, any citizen is qualified to walk in there because we remember, we're not politicians, we're representatives. And representatives do two things: listen to the people and act in the name of the people. That's it. That's the whole job.
Steve, thank you so much for joining me. I'd love to have you back on, brother. Thank you.
Anytime, my friend. Anytime.
All right. God bless. All right. Let's get back to the news. Trump, Hegseth clashed at Camp David over missile depletion concerns. Did they really? We'll see. All right. President Donald Trump's frustration over Iran has boiled over at Camp David last week, where he demanded answers from Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth on why they had apparently been misled on extreme munition shortages and now threatened to limit military options with Iran. So they're saying, we're running out of missiles. So this is going to this is going to stop our military operations in Iran. Not true. So I like to bring these articles out to show to the people what they're putting out there, so you can sowing doubt in the minds of the conservatives, proving the liberals right. This is the shit they're putting out on social media or on MSN to make you believe that Trump is making all the wrong moves. Look no further than the post that I put out yesterday about the 100-year plan with the globalists in China. Folks, it would have been a wrap. It would have been done. It would have been over if Hillary would have got in and if we would have lost to Kamala. It would have been over. Biden was a huge obstacle. It was a hiccup. It was a speed bump, but it helped. Why? Because it red-pilled most of America into understanding what America would have looked like under someone like Biden, Obama, Clinton, Kamala Harris. And we're now coming into the midterms where, it could be trouble again. I don't know what you all believe. I know what I believe. I don't think there's any way out of this but for a pause or delay, unless we've got everything, this is also a possibility, unless we have everything under control and we're going to win this bigly. And that means that there's certain levers in place that they're not going to be able to take the election. In other words, we're going to win it. Because I don't see how we did that in 2024 without levers being in place for Trump to get in. And I think maybe now with Maduro being taken down, maybe, just maybe, behind the scenes, we are in control, which to me would be a lot safer option. Now, just hear me out. It'd be a lot safer option if we go into the midterms, everyone turns up to vote, and we win this honestly. That would be the best option, in my opinion. Now, if that's not possible, if there's no way to do that, then I would say the next best option is the delay or the pause. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes in that manner. I don't know how far advanced this operation is. This is just an assumption, and I can see both sides playing out. I do not believe the Democrats win this at all. Whether it's a delay or an honest vote, they don't win. I think it's over, and that is why Tucker Carlson and people like Candace Owens are touting or asking for another party to come up. They're flirting with the idea to run. I think because the Democratic Party is going to come to its demise. I believe this is coming. I don't know when. I don't have a time frame, but I think pretty soon. All right, let's get to the next article here. Trump vows jail. He vows jail for treasonous leakers over missile shortage report in latest Truth Social round. So there you go. There you have it. People that are leaking this shit, he's vowing that they will go to jail. President Donald Trump has reacted to the reporting that confronted Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth over an alleged munitions shortage caused by the Iran war, threatening the leakers who spoke to the press with jail time. So anybody who's saying this, you could be looking at jail time, or whoever leaked this, what I would say is false information. That's just my opinion on that. But he is threatening jail time. I thought this was very good too. This is an ex-post from Ari. I noticed Donald has been consistently poking at. Now this is kind of strange, because if you understand the entertainment business, if you understand what's happening with Ariana Grande right now, Perez Hilton, all these celebrities, folks, it's very real. It's very, very real. Trust me, I've been in the entertainment business. I know people in the entertainment business. I've been fighting my whole life. I understand the demonic forces within. This is real. They all make some kind of deal as they climb the ladder. Not everybody, but a lot of them do, and they get too far involved, and they come back for the karma tab or the payment. And it's completely spiritual, folks. So Donald Trump has been consistently poking at LeBron James since he announced a new team with a 92% pay cut. President of the United States knows LeBron is at his weakest point, because just like Dwayne Wade, who I've met in person, by the way, Dwayne Wade retired, he had to offer up his son. These are spiritual contracts, which meant turning him out. What does that mean? With the help of Gabriel Union, of course. The other option was probably death. So it's either like you turn yourself, they go, if you look at Dwayne The Rock, all of them, all their kids, all of a sudden their kids are, why? It's a sacrifice. It's they're giving them something of worth to keep their notoriety, to keep their status. Or the other option is you can die in a helicopter crash like Kobe. You don't play ball, yeah, you'll end up like Kobe Bryant. So the other option was probably death. LeBron James is only still playing because he is trying to figure out, this is crazy. He says LeBron James is only still playing because he is trying to figure out what his offering is. Jay-Z is at his weakest point as well. His latest concert VIP tickets were only $150, which is hysterical. Beyonce's single she released did not do good at all. It fucking bombed. As a matter of fact, I noticed Kanye West didn't play any songs at his concert with Jay-Z features, but Jay-Z played multiple songs that featured Kanye West or at his last concert. This says way more than what Jay-Z has ever been comfortable with admitting. He has been carried by Kanye West and Beyonce Knowles for the past 20 years. Trump's WNBA comment to LeBron James is not mockery. It's interrogation in public. Any desire to be a woman framing forces LeBron into a binary comply with the ritual pathway like Bruce Jenner, who made a fame preservation through Jenner's sacrifice. So in other words, this is all done to keep their status or avoid death. Allegedly. So, Jenner sacrifice will produce alternative collateral immediately. So they can either offer alternative collateral, a kid, their kids, however they need to do this, or death. So fame, for those of you in doubt, when you look at these people at the very, very top of the echelon, it comes with a price. They want it so bad. So this is kind of how fame works. You work your way up the ladder and you get by on looks and talent to a point. They start to approach you a little bit. And then you say, yeah, I mean, I guess I could do that. I guess I could do a little bit of this. You start talking with them. You start rubbing shoulders with them. And then you go a little bit higher. And then you start really liking where you're at. And you start really loving the money, the fame, people noticing you. And you go, I really like it at this point. Then they come back and they offer you a little bit more. And they keep taking you up this ladder until finally they say, all right, motherfucker, you like where you're at? You're one of the biggest celebrities in the world now. Do you love it? You say, absolutely, I love it. We want your kid. What do you mean? Well, you want to stay here? Look at all this dirt we have on you. Look at all this blackmail. You did this, that, and this at a party. We also know what you look up on the internet. Blah, 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 blah. We're going to put this all out there and cause a huge scene if you don't comply. And then, bam, they're caught. They're wrapped up in it. There's no way out. And the only way out is death. But where do they go in the afterlife? It's a real game. It's a real game these people play, and I don't think they know what they're getting into until they're finally there, because the fame is addicting, the women, the drugs, all that is addicting, folks. Look at Ariana Grande. Prayers out to her. I hope she follows Jesus Christ. I hope she gives her life to Jesus Christ publicly. Perez Hilton, look what happened to him. This is real. It's a real war. It's a real spiritual war. And I got a story. I do have a story to see this bracelet I'm wearing, folks. I found this on a tram from the airport to the rent-a-car place as I was talking to my dad about Jesus Christ. I was talking to my dad about Jesus Christ and telling him, which I never do. I never minister. I never witness. I don't ever do that. And as I'm talking to my dad, the sun was hitting the floor of the tramway, and this bracelet was on the floor, and I couldn't see what it was. I just saw a bracelet, and I thought, as I'm talking to my dad about Jesus Christ, I'm sitting here looking at the bracelet going, I wonder what that is. I'm going to go pick it up after this phone call's over. I hang up with my dad. after talking to him about Jesus Christ. I walk over, I pick this up, and on the cross it says, Jesus saves. That's what it says. That's what it says on here. Jesus saves. It says it on here. I can't explain this. I don't know. I can't explain it. If that phone call wouldn't have happened, then I would have thought no big deal. I just found a bracelet with a cross on it and gave it to somebody. But the fact that what I was discussing with my father and what I was talking about and staring at this bracelet simultaneously, and then I go pick it up and it's this, I can't, folks, I don't know what to say. I can't explain that. I cannot explain that. I don't know. I mean, that in its news, that in itself is kind of what the fuck news, to be honest with you. But let's go ahead and take some super chats, Alex. What do we got here for super chats? Lucia Robertson 9025 super sticker. Thank you so much. All right, James Rains. I think that's what it says. Prayers for protection over your family and the Black Sheep family. Looking forward to ringside. If you know, you know. Jesus is king. Thank you. Absolutely. Jesus Christ is king. Kelly Paneski 576. Yes, this has been a spiritual war all along. Folks, this is confirmation for me. I found this yesterday on the tram floor as I was witnessing to my father. I can't explain that. I'm looking at this bracelet on the floor as I'm talking to my dad going, what is that? I hang up with him. I go and I pick this up. I don't know. I can't make it up. Nino, I saw your soft white belly interview. Awesome. I respect you even more now, and I am proud of you. That is, God, my eyesights are bad. QRB5469, thank you so much. Kelly Panetsky 576, super sticker. Yeah, if you all want to watch the soft white underbelly, yeah, I appreciate that. If you want to hear my story, it's on soft white underbelly. David Nino Rodriguez, the most dangerous puncher in boxing. I think I don't remember what they named it. I think that's what they named it. It's good, though. Big time 17 ounce. The Sancho, Alex, Gray Eye Jewel, Harbor Jose, Future, keeping it real. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Kelly Ray, Ray, 1982. Miracles happen every day. Praise Jesus. Love you big. Love you guys, too. I wasn't going to tell this story, but I felt that, I don't know. What do you all think of that? I mean, I tell enough stuff about I tell enough bad news on here. I don't know. I felt like maybe somebody needs to hear that because I can't explain this. If I wasn't having that conversation, then maybe it would have been like, whatever. It's just a bracelet with a cross on it. But the fact that I was having that in-depth where I wanted to cry on the phone with my dad, and then I see this and I put it on and my heart warmed up. I don't know. It's just unbelievable, man. Unbelievable stuff. I mean, how do you explain it? I don't believe in coincidences. But I do believe in what the fuck news. In what the fuck news. Man dressed up as a Grim Reaper arrested after hospital disturbance. Now, I can relate to this because every time I go to a dungeon, a hell dungeon is what I call hospitals, nobody gives a fuck. Everyone's there just to they're on their fucking phones half the time, at least in El Paso. And you know what? I should name the hospitals. I probably will at some point. I'm keeping tabs on all of them. There's 3 big hospitals that we've been here, and folks, they don't give a shit. The doctors are fucking rude. They come in and they tell you the worst case fucking scenario on everything, and they have no bedside manner. They're lazy. People are we're just eating our tortas at the computer, and I don't know what medicine your dad is on. Anyway, yeah, so I can relate. To the Grim Reaper being on the hospital roof here. So a 26-year-old man was arrested and fined after climbing onto the roof of a hospital in Wales while dressed up as the Grim Reaper and staring down at patients and visitors and staff, according to multiple reports. He ain't wrong. Leon Gillespie of Gnwg, Wales, was spotted wearing all black hooded outfit while standing above the entrance of 𝗬𝗄cy Glan Clyde Hospital in St. Asaph. I don't know what that word is. On June 6th, The Dependent and Metro UK reported, citing local police. Witnesses said he appeared to be motionless. He appeared to be motionless as he looked down at people below and held what appeared to be a long blade. Basically letting him know, yeah, your chances here aren't too good. Folks, this is why I'm dedicating my life right now to alternative therapies, preventative measures, red light therapy, losing weight, any supplement that I can find. I take the peptides and things like that. I'm trying to squeeze out whatever I can squeeze out of my life because I don't want to end up in a hospital. Why? Because they don't give a fuck. Bottom line, nobody there cares. They're there to just go to work and then go home, watch the TV, take care of that. They don't give a shit about you. They don't care about your sob story. They don't care that it's life and death. They're just there to do their work, at least in El Paso. And I don't even call it work because none of them even care about their work. And, I may do a show on this sooner or later. And I've lost a lot of hope in the medical system. I'm just going to tell you that right now. A lot of hope. And I think people have died unnecessarily due to neglect, due to miscalculations, malpractice. I think that's more of it than you know. I think that's most of it. So the best bet is not to go into one of these places where the Grim Reaper hangs out. Now, is there a lot of good nurses and doctors? Yeah, there is. There is. I'm not going to say there's not. There's one in every 10, one in every 20. You'll get a good one that comes in and they're positive and then they feel good about the situation. They give you some good news and they're really trying to help. There's some. They're very far and few between. And I would like to say that the hospital probably has saved my dad's life more than not because we've had to be there and be on top of them. My sister especially. Both of us have been on top of them. I have horror story after horror story with hospitals, folks. Just don't go to them. Protect your life, protect your health, protect your wealth. That's all. That's what I dedicate my channel to. Nino's Corner.tv, folks. I have Alex Alonso and Jack Clarence coming on. The video is going to drop Saturday, tomorrow. It's dropping tomorrow. Gold Lies in Videotape. If you haven't seen it, go to HBO Max. Watch that. It's a great documentary on the biggest deep state gold heist in history. In history. And it could lead to Watergate and the JFK assassination. Folks, I'm getting ready to jump on with Patrick Byrne. And then I got Sammy the Bull Gravano tomorrow. I'm really trying to knock it out for you guys, man. I'm doing my best. Get to Nino's Corner.tv, folks. Subscribe. The Live Forever special is still there. You're not going to want to miss this documentary. I promise. I promise. This podcast is going to be the best you've ever seen. I'm very proud of it. I'm out of here, folks. Thank you. And the new heavyweight champion of podcasting and the Black Sheep of broadcasting, baby.